Alright guys, so we're back for another Dokkan battle video, and today we're going to go ahead and run through the Ginyu Force event. The brand new event that is out on both Global and JP. Now, the event really only has, well, I guess two purposes. One is the Piccolo that we will be able to farm up. We can get him to a free 100%. He is the first free-to-play transformation mechanic unit introduced into the game. We awaken him with the nail metal from the actual event itself. There's not really too much else to talk about with the Piccolo. He does get an Extreme Z Awakening, but that's still a few days away. Now, after his Extreme Z Awakening, he is a very, very good free-to-play unit, one of the best in the game. The other thing to do is also farm this frog support item. This support item is pretty good. It heals 70% HP, and then I believe it changes... Is it int orbs to tech orbs? I believe so. The reason that's actually so good is because that is a very helpful item for LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Because, you know, he always needs lots of tech orbs that will heal you. So that's a very good item for, like, Super Tech, Super Battle Road or something along those lines. To, you know, give LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku a little bit more key on the field, as well as actually heal yourself up. So, this event picks up where the last story event that we had kind of ends. We had the beginning of the Namek Saga sort of Frieza event from the 3-year anniversary. What's funny is, you know, JP got that, 7 months ago, whereas Global just got that last month. And that was where we were able to farm up the Kid Gohan to 100%, and he eventually got his EZA as well. Now, here is the physical LR Ginyu Force card art. Not yet on Global, so it is a big cock tease. You know, for those of you who are on Global playing the event, that's a big tease right there. But, no worries. I do really believe the physical LR Ginyu Force will be coming to Global soon. Very soon. I think, because a lot of things Global players are asking for, I think are all going to drop at the same time. So, I think sometime in maybe the beginning of October... is when Global and JP will get their next Dokkan Fest events, right? Because I think what's going to happen is in 2 days, the transforming Goku and Frieza cards will come out for both Global and JP. Then, I think about a week later, LR Goku and Frieza drops, which I also think is a Dokkan Fest exclusive card and a Dokkan event as well. Then, I think, you know, we'll get a full... practically 4 weeks until like the next Dokkan Fest type event thing will drop for Global and JP. You know, JP would get something like, I don't know, some random new Dokkan Fest event. Let's say a Super Baby 2, right? Whereas Global, I think, would go back to following the schedule, and I think Evolution Blue Vegeta and Jiren will be next, and then I think the LR Frieza campaign, as well as Dokkan Battlefield arriving for the first time on Global. I think all those things will come at the same time. Blue Vegeta, Jiren's Awakening, Dokkan Battlefield, and the LR Frieza campaign, because a lot of Global players are always wondering where the LR Frieza campaign is at. The reason it took so long for it to arrive on Global compared to where JP had it is because Global did not have the Ginyu Force category and all of the free-to-play Ginyu Force members, so you could not get the extra drops that you get from doing the LR Frieza event with Ginyu Force category team units. So that's really good. That's really good. Now, again, the majority of this event, there's not really too much. Also, notice how going through this event is so easy. Like, going through events on JP is so easy now. Because I hop in and I see, based upon what's at the top of the list, I can sort of venture a guess as to what team I use to complete the event last, because usually, like, they'll give you leaders, like, that are used for, like, the last team you use right at the top, so I'm able to just, boom, jump into events, boom, boom, boom. That feature is so nice. Like, it's so underrated. I don't see a lot of people talk about it, but that last deck feature is so helpful, especially because there's just not enough team slots. Like, I'm constantly doing events and rebuilding the Super Saiyan 3 category team, the Android category team, the Potara team. I'm building a Super Tech team, a Super SCR team. I'm always constantly rebuilding teams because we just there's what, like 7 or 8 team slots, if you got the last team slot from like the last Dragon Ball Wishes, which I did, but it's still not enough because there's like 30 fucking teams in the game, and like still, and then I would keep like the my Pichu Pichu Gal team for the daily Turtle Shell event. I would keep my World Tournament category team for the daily Mr. Satan statue event. Luckily, like, I don't have to keep those teams built anymore thanks to that last deck feature, because, you're only ever going to go through the Roshi event, hopefully. You only ever want to go through the Roshi event with your Pichu Pichu Gal team. And now, like, I don't even have to keep that team built. It's just always there. The last team used. Boom, boom, boom. So I absolutely love the new deck feature. Now, in terms of when Global will get it, lately, within the past several months, it seems as though Global gets these updates, like the quality of life updates, like the summon animations and stuff, usually about exactly 2 months after JP gets it. Not really on the same time frame as, say, normal events are. A lot of the normal events usually are pretty much at about 4 months. Like, people will say Global is 6 months behind, which is not accurate. Global is actually about 4 months behind, right? So, usually you could look at a unit like, full power Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? And you would say, okay, so he came out, on like July 1st? Well, actually, he did come out on July 1st, but I think that's going to be a weird one, where he's probably going to come out longer than 4 months after because of the 250 million download celebration being snuck in there. And then also, there were dead periods of time on JP that Global sort of skipped over. Like, what was a dead period for JP for like a full month, basically, Global slid up Ultra Instinct Goku's Awakening to fill that spot. So that did help them gain up a little ground. I think personally, I would like to see them continue to shave off the length between when stuff comes out on either version. I do think, as a community, it would be a lot more hype if things were, simultaneous. I wouldn't care about that. Like, yeah, let's let Global catch all the way up, have things come out at the exact same time. I think that would be very beneficial for the health of the game. And then, people always ask for things like PvP and stuff. If Global and JP were on the same, like, track, they were caught up with each other, then something like PvP, like, what Legends has, could be realistic. And, previously, we would say, like, all these, new features, I wish Dokkan had this, or Dokkan did this, and it's like they weren't really, so interested in doing all that stuff. But now that Legends is around, they don't mind. Also, the third stage right there, as you guys can see, that is the stage for farming at Piccolo. I am almost done with the Piccolo farming. I still have a little bit to do. I still need some large orbs. You also get the Piccolo to drop from that same stage. Now, Piccolo, again, you could very easily farm up to SA10. You're going to have a ton of extra copies of Piccolo cards. So you could use those to go ahead and raise the super attack levels of all the other Piccolos in the game. Also, by the way, I'm kind of talking over it, but this is, this whole event is about all the battles with the Ginyu Force. Basically, from when the Ginyu Force arrive on Namek, when Vegeta, Gohan, and Krillin sort of meet and intersect at Guru's house. Nail tells him the Ginyu Force is arriving. They go to Vegeta's Dragon Balls, but the Ginyu Force, like, is too fast. Beats them to the Dragon Balls so that, like, Vegeta and them can't escape. And then they're stuck into their fight with the Ginyu Force. And then Goku does arrive, and, it goes all the way through. The event goes all the way through Captain Ginyu being defeated. And then, I'm sure at some point we will get another story event that will cover, like, the Frieza saga. And see, I'm actually really enjoying what they're doing now, like, making these story events for, like, every saga, because, like, they did a Raditz event. I mean, we're talking over, like, 3 years ago. They did a Raditz story event, and eventually they did the Vegeta and Nappa arriving on Earth story event, and then they sort of combined them into one, right? So that's, like, the Saiyan Saga event. And then it took them until the 3rd anniversary, then they kind of continued that. So now, in the future, we're still going to have story events for all of the, you know, kind of Mecha Frieza arriving on Earth, the, you know, Trunks arriving, the Android Saga, the Cell Saga, the Boo Saga. We don't have story events for any of that stuff. Obviously, we do for basically all of Dragon Ball Super. You know, there's the, whatchamacallit, the Resurrection F event. There is also the Battle of Gods events. We do have the Future Trunks events. We've got a bunch of Dokkan events regarding a lot of those stuff as well. And then, of course, we have all of the Tournament of Power story events as well. So, like, all of Dragon Ball Super is done, but they still got to finish up Dragon Ball Z. Wait, what team did I use here? Not you. No. Okay. Full power. All right, so let's just get a Super Saiyan 4 Goku. No? Super Saiyan 4 Goku? All right, hold on. Boom. Open up the full power category. Bam, bam, bam. That will give us... Oh, there he is. Boom. All right, jumping in. Now, I also still want them to cover Dragon Ball, right? Like, I would love if they would start doing, like, Dragon Ball stuff. Like they very easily could make, like, really good cards based around original OG Dragon Ball. And, like, you have still, like, you know, fighters who could be, like, Dokkan Fest level events, I think, from Dragon Ball. Like, you know, you could have King Piccolo. I think Mercenary Tao is probably on a level to where he would deserve, like, a Dokkan Fest or an LR. Like, he was pretty much Goku's, like, first, like, big villain opponent that he fights. Mercenary Tao was. And then, obviously, you know, Demon King Piccolo, and then, you know, Piccolo from the end of Dragon Ball. I think, like, that, a lot of people consider the fight between Piccolo and Goku, the very last fight of original Dragon Ball, to be the best fight in the series. I kind of agree with that. That fight is incredible. And I think we could get a Dokkan Fest or an LR of Piccolo from that fight. And I feel like people would summon for him. Like, if he was, like, a ridiculous, like, good villain card, too, on the level of, you know, what Turles is, or what's another insane villain, like SCR Rose Goku Black, like, you know, if we got, like, a crazy King Piccolo card like that, or normal Piccolo, people would summon for it. Like, they need to build a Dragon Ball category team. You know, Dragon Ball itself is just so expansive. There's so much there that there's still a lot that they have to cover. So right here, Frieza is not able to make a wish to the Dragon Balls. Ginyu was able to steal all 7 from Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan. Takes them to Frieza, but Frieza's not actually able to even, you know, summon the dragon, because you have to wish for the dragon in, like, the Namekian language. So that's where Frieza heads to Guru's house to go interrogate Guru for how to use the Dragon Balls. And then that's what eventually leads to Frieza and Nail fighting, which eventually leads to, you know, Piccolo finding Nail, fusing with him, and then that's sort of, you know, the very good card we get from this event right here. I actually really like the idea of, like, this free-to-play, you know, Piccolo fusing with Nail sort of transformation character. That was a really good idea. And they did make him quite good. He's got his own orbs. Like, I really, like, I hope they continue that sort of stuff. Like, you know, let's say they do an Android Saga story event. What if they gave us, like, I was going to say we've never really gotten a good Super Saiyan Trunks with the sword, but we do have LR Trunks. I think LR Trunks is pretty good. Not as good as some of the other summonable LRs, but he's still, you know, one of the 20 best units in the game, probably. So, like, he certainly would count. So maybe like a Mecha Frieza, right? We've only got... Oh, also, that's the arts for the upcoming Dokkan Fest Frieza right there. But how many Mecha Friezas are there in the game? 2? There's a Super Strike one, and the other one is part of the same Super Strike event. So, a Mecha Frieza. We could get a good Mecha Frieza card, like, as a, like, free Rainbow-type unit, right? For, like, an Android Saga event. Like, I would love if they continue doing that, creating, like, interesting sort of characters for different categories. Because what's funny is, that would be perfect for a Frieza race category team, which I think really is one of the next big categories we should see on JP. Because there's still a lot of, like, Frieza race characters that either don't have a, barely don't really have categories. Like, the GT Frieza cards I believe, don't have categories, right? Like, we obviously need to get them on a category. A freeze erase card, boom, boom, freeze erase category would completely fix that problem. So here's where this is basically the start of Vegeta kind of being like an ally to them. After they're forced to fight the Ginyu Force, and then Vegeta's like, all right, Kakarot, you're here, that's cool, but like, Frieza's pretty fucking strong, and Ginyu is not weak either. So then, Goku has to fight Ginyu and all that stuff. Another thing they still have to do is we do still need story events for... Well, I guess only the Shadow Dragon arc is left now. Because they did do the story event for Super 17. We got that, and it covered the entirety of the Super 17 arc as well. So all we need now is to get that Shadow Dragon arc story event. See, that would be a perfect one, because that would give us hopefully a couple farmable Shadow Dragon characters. I think that's one mistake maybe they've made so far, is the Shadow Dragons. Like, you have the 2 Omega cards, the SCR and the physical Dokkan Fest, which are incredible. Yeah, so here's where Vegeta's like, alright, I'll fight Jace. Kakarot, you fight Ginyu, let's go ahead and take him down. Goku's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then Vegeta's like, psych, bitch, and flies away. that always is hilarious to me. Okay, so we do have that one summonable Nova Shenron card, but like, let's be real, there needs to be another Nova Shenron card. Like, we need another Ice Shenron card, because we've only got the one farmable unit for him, and then all, the other 4 Shadow Dragons are fucking rares and SRs. Like, we need a real, like, bunch of Shadow Dragon characters. There's still, what's funny is, I heard a lot of people say, like, oh, Dragon Ball Super is done. Whew, Dokkan, they're done. They're done. They're done. And it's like, there's still a lot from Dragon Ball they haven't done. And, like, we've got the Broly movie coming up. And I'm going to be real with y'all. That Broly movie is going to make so much money that they're going to bring some Dragon Ball anime to TV next year. Like, it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be a continuation of Dragon Ball Super, or it might be like a sequel to, like, Dragon Ball Z. Like, they'll finally take place, after Goku starts training Oob and stuff. But, like, I got to imagine that Broly movie, like, people are so... The Broly movie hype is very, very high. So, like, Toei and these companies, Shueisha, they're going to be getting dump trucks of money, and they're not going to go, okay, we just got a bajillion zillion dollars. Let's sit on Dragon Ball for a little bit. We don't need to be making no anime or nothing. That's not what they're going to do. They're going to say, we like money. Let's make another Dragon Ball anime. So once that happens, of course, Dokkan, Legends, Xenoverse 2, Fighters, eventually Xenoverse 3, all these games, they're still going to be picking up with new content from Dragon Ball. And then, of course, we have heard the whispers, of Dragon Ball Heroes potentially being brought worldwide. And, like, if that happens, and then all of a sudden they start dropping, Dokkan Fest, Super Saiyan 3 Vegito, Dokkan Fest, Super Saiyan, 4 Vegito, what happens then? I'm pretty sure if the next Dokkan Fest, boom, here you go, fuckers, Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. I'm going to go ahead and take a guess that people are going to spend like crazy to get Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. I'm just saying. So, Dokkan, there's a lot left in the tank. Now, this stage, right? This is a stage that a lot of us are going to have to farm a lot of times. So, they basically are able to, well, not able to make a wish to the Dragon Balls. They try as well. Frieza failed, but left. So, now they fly to Frieza's spaceship. They try and make a wish, but they also fail. Eventually, Dende will arrive, and Dende will allow Krillin and Krillin and Gohan to make their wish to the Namekian Dragon Balls, and then that's where they bring Piccolo back to life. Another reason Piccolo, by the way, should be in the revived warrior category. Piccolo is literally revived and then brought to Namek to fight. Like, he's a revived warrior. That's like the dumbest shit I've ever seen. That might be the single, like, worst omission from any category. Like, by definition of this category they made, Piccolo should be in the Revived Warrior category. I mean, would it make really that big of a deal? Maybe a little, because he does have shocking speed. I mean, he does heal. He is an orb changer. So I feel as though that Piccolo, you know, he's going to get his Extreme Z-Awaken, a free Rainbow. He could be useful for a lot of people on the Revived Warrior category. It's definitely a shaft. I feel as though they should, like, add him or something to the Revived Warrior category, because, like, there's really no point for him not to be there. Also, now that I think about it, another card we could get is Goku and Captain Ginyu's body right here, because we do have the two cards of Ginyu and Goku's body. We have the physical SR as well as the tech LR Ginyu Force, you know, all of them, plus Ginyu and Goku's body. I feel like that Ginyu and Goku's body, by the way, card could get an awakening. You do actually get one for completing the missions here. On this stage, if you guys notice the blue support capsules that were spread out across the stage, those are the frog item. There's some missions to collect, I believe, 250 of the frog item, and if you do that, you will get a bunch of rewards, including, I think, eventually Grand Elder Kai, an Elder Kai, as well as a copy of the physical SR Ginyu Force. Now, I think a long time ago, I actually did give him a few Grand Elder Kais, my SR physical Ginyu Force. So that card, unfortunately for me, is going to be nothing but, like, Baba food. So that sucks. But, you know, it is still cool that he's there. Alright, so LR Beerus is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage right here, by the way, because he has... he's going to get hit first. So let's see what our boy LR Beerus is capable of doing. Alright, so that will activate Beerus' attack. And then 1.4... Okay, it's a wonky team, and not really all of his links are active. That does show me that in order for Beerus to really hit hard, he is going to need all of those links active. You know, Godly Power, you know... What are his other attack links? Legendary Power is not one. Wow, I feel like an idiot. I just forgot all of Beerus' links. But anyway, notice we got 5 of the frog item. So, you know, just do this stage over and over. It's worth it to get all of those Elder Kais. Although, it will be pretty easy to get the upcoming Dokkan Fest Goku and Frieza, getting them to SA10, because it's just a base form Goku and a first form Frieza. So they're both pretty easily farmable. And then Beerus, by the way, his links are... Oh, yeah, Prodigies, Innocence, that's what I was forgetting. And then, of course, Fierce Battle, which he also does have. Alright, so right here, Goku is able to get back into his body, and then he comes up with the rather ingenious idea of taking the frog and tossing it in the wave when Ginyu tries to switch with Vegeta. He sees the way Vegeta has gotten crazy power-ups, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm about to steal Vegeta's body. And then Goku's like, nah, actually, you're not going to do that. And then that concludes the fight with the Ginyu Force. Now, there actually is still... Ginyu does show up way later in Dragon Ball Super. They brought him back into Goma's body. That's another thing they could do. If you guys remember, there's a Battle of Gods story event, but they did make a story event for kind of the Dragon Ball Super, the differences in the anime where they're on the cruise ship rather than at Capsule Corporation. I feel as though they easily could do that for Resurrection F, where there's like a free farmable card of Ginyu into Goma's body. That would be another good idea for like an interesting sort of free-to-play event or something like that. Because that's a card we don't have yet, right? Is Ginyu into Goma's body, and then also Goku in Ginyu's body. 2 cards I would like to see added at some point in the future. So, alright guys, there is the Ginyu Force event. Basically 2 stages you're going to have to grind. The one stage to get the frog support items, and then the other stage to go ahead and grind up all of the, the Piccolo orbs, as well as, you know, the Piccolo cards. And again, you could use those Piccolo cards to raise the super attack levels of all the other Piccolos in the game. You know, maybe you have, like, your first ever copy of LR Piccolo or something like that. You can go ahead and kind of raise his essays with that. And then here we go. There is where we get the physical Ginyu card for getting 77 frog items. You can also get him in the Baba Shop with incredible gems. But alright guys, I will go ahead and end it here. I'll probably have a video later tonight awakening and 100%ing the free-to-play Piccolo, and we'll kind of see how good he is before his EZA comes in a few days. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.